woodcutter and the dull axe. Success requires patience. Part 1. The challenge begins. John had always been known for his strength and determination. He believed that hard work alone was the key to success. Every morning, before the sun rose, he would walk deep into the forest to chop trees, hoping to gather the most wood and earn more than his fellow woodcutters. One day, a challenge was announced in his village. Whoever could cut down the most trees in a week would receive a grand prize. John saw this as his chance to prove himself, so he sharpened his axe and set off with unwavering determination. On the first day, John chopped down 10 trees, his energy and motivation at their peak. His swings were powerful, and his technique was precise. As he walked back to the village, he felt proud, knowing that he had made a strong start. But success would not come so easily. By the third day, something changed. His axe, once sharp and effective, had grown dull. The trees were becoming harder to chop, and John had to swing harder and longer just to get through a single trunk. His hands ached. His muscles screamed in protest, yet he refused to stop. To him, taking a break meant losing the challenge. Part 2. The struggle and the lesson. By the 5th day, John was barely making progress. His cuts were shallow, and it took him twice as long to bring down a single tree. Frustration grew inside him, but he ignored it, convinced that if he just worked harder, he could still win. That evening, Henry, an experienced woodcutter, approached John as he slumped against a tree, exhausted. "John, why do you look so defeated?" Henry asked. "My axe has become dull, and I'm struggling to cut down trees," John admitted, his pride wounded. "But I can't stop. I have to keep going." Henry chuckled and handed John his own axe. "Feel the edge of my blade." John ran his fingers along the edge and was shocked to find it razor sharp. "How is your axe still this sharp after days of chopping?" "Because I take time to sharpen it," Henry said with a knowing smile. "Every evening, I stop for an hour and sharpen my axe. It may seem like I'm losing time, but in reality, I'm gaining efficiency. A sharp axe cuts better than a dull one, no matter how strong the swing." John frowned, his exhaustion clouding his judgment. "But if I stop to sharpen my axe, I'll fall behind. Or you might actually move ahead," Henry replied. "Success isn't just about working harder, it's about working smarter." Part 3. The transformation. That night, John took Henry's advice to heart. Instead of pushing through with brute force, he sat down and carefully sharpened his axe. The rhythmic scraping sound filled the quiet night, and for the first time in days, he felt a sense of clarity. The next morning, he approached his first tree. With a renewed grip, he swung his freshly sharpened axe, and to his amazement, the blade sliced through the wood effortlessly. The work felt easier, smoother, almost enjoyable. In less time than before, he managed to cut down twice as many trees as he had the day before. John realized then that patience, preparation, and strategy were just as important as effort. He had been so focused on working hard that he had forgotten the importance of pausing, reflecting, and refining his approach. As the final day of the challenge arrived, John and Henry stood side by side. Both had worked diligently, but while John had started with brute force, he ended with wisdom. When the results were announced, John was astonished. He had tied with Henry for the most trees cut. He turned to Henry, gratitude in his eyes. "You were right. Sharpening the axe wasn't a waste of time. It was the key to success." Part 4. The moral of the story. John didn't just win a challenge. He gained a lesson that would shape his entire life. He understood now that in any journey, whether in work, personal growth, or success, taking time to sharpen one's skills, reflect, and strategize is essential. This story is not just about chopping wood. It's about how we approach life. Too often, we push ourselves to exhaustion, believing that effort alone will bring success. But true progress comes when we learn to balance effort with wisdom. So ask yourself, are you swinging a dull axe in your own life? Are you working tirelessly without stopping to improve your methods? Success isn't just about persistence. It's about patience, learning, and refining your craft. Next time you face a challenge, remember the woodcutter's lesson. Sometimes, the best way to move forward is to pause and sharpen your axe.